Delve into one book daily, and today we're diving into
100 Years of Solitude. Have you ever felt this way? Surrounded by a noisy party, voices buzzing all around, your fingers scrolling through countless message notifications, yet your heart is wrapped in an invisible film, even your breath carrying the weight of silence. We pass by countless people, sharing fragmented emotions, but never find a soul-deep resonance, as if trapped on a desolate island. The liveliness belongs to others. Loneliness is our true essence. This magnum opus of magical realism by Colombian author Gabriel Garcia Marquez uses a century-spanning family epic to depict the universal predicament of loneliness. It transcends circumstances and borders, an eternal proposition etched in human nature. Since its publication in 1967, it has broken cultural barriers, becoming a spiritual comfort for readers worldwide, allowing us to see our own reflections in the intertwined words of magic and reality. 100 Years of Solitude is the pinnacle of Latin American magical realism. Its author, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, won the 1982 Nobel Prize in Literature for this work. Set in the fictional town of Macondo, the book weaves together the rise and fall of 7 generations of the Buendia family, blending myths, folktales with Latin America's historical changes and social upheavals. It not only presents the lonely cycle of a family, but also metaphorizes the vicissitudes of fate of an entire continent. Translated into dozens of languages, it has become a global bestseller and a literary monument transcending cultures and eras. The story of the Buendia family begins with the marriage of José Arcadio Buendia and Úrsula. José Arcadio Buendia was once a young man full of curiosity, unwilling to be confined by his hometown's poverty and isolation. He always dreamed of exploring the unknown world and deciphering the code of fate. I don't want to be trapped in this land where even the wind refuses to linger. I want to see the scenery beyond the sea and build a town that can resist loneliness for my family. This was his initial obsession, and also the original spiritual backdrop of the Buendia family, a longing to escape and create. Thus, he led his wife, relatives, and friends to build Macondo in a desolate swamp. In its early days, Macondo was a paradise, bathed in abundant sunshine, with thriving crops. People loved each other, free from conflicts and loneliness. Standing in the center of the town, José Arcadio Buendia looked at what he had built with pride. But this joy was short-lived. As the novelty faded and the town's outline stabilized, he fell into inexplicable restlessness. He realized that no matter how hard he tried, an insurmountable gap remained between people. Each heart was an isolated island. He tried to fill this emptiness with science and reason, becoming obsessed with alchemy, astronomy, and magnet treasure hunting, confining himself to the laboratory and studying day after day. These cold metals and obscure formulas may tell me why people feel lonely, why the closer we get to each other, the farther apart we become. His heart cried out, but no one understood. Úrsula tried to wake him. His children looked up to him with awe. The townspeople gradually regarded him as a madman. In the end, consumed by endless madness and loneliness, he was tied to a chestnut tree by his family, muttering incomprehensible ravings until his last breath. He never understood that the freedom and creation he chased could never escape the fate of loneliness. José Arcadio, the eldest son of José Arcadio Buendia, inherited his father's impulsiveness and rebellion, but lacked his curiosity. He was entangled by desire at an early age, having an affair with Rebecca, the family's adopted daughter. I can't control my body or my heart. Only with her can this bone-deep emptiness fade away temporarily. His heart was filled with struggle, longing to escape the world's judgment, yet unable to face his own desires. When their forbidden love was discovered, he chose to flee, wandering with the gypsies. Years later, he returned to Macondo with wealth and vicissitudes, but he was already alienated from his family. He became taciturn, shutting himself in his room, guarding his wealth and his loneliness. Eventually, he was assassinated in his room, his body found stiff, still bearing the mark of alienation from the world. Unlike his elder brother, the second son, Aureliano Buendia, transformed his inner loneliness into fanaticism for power and war. He was quiet and introverted since childhood, enjoying being alone. His only hobby was making little goldfish. I hate Macondo's tranquility, this life that can be seen to the end at a glance. Maybe war can give me a sense of purpose. His heart harbored a resistance to mediocrity and an extreme pursuit of self-worth. Thus, he raised the standard of rebellion, becoming a revolutionary leader, launching countless wars that swept across neighboring towns. He won victories and established a new order, only to find himself still lonely. Power did not fill the void in his heart. Instead, it made him colder and more suspicious. He personally executed his former comrades, alienated his family, and showed no affection even to his own sons. I won all the wars, but lost to loneliness. This was his deepest insight in old age. He abandoned power, returned to Macondo, and resumed making little goldfish, forging them, melting them down, and forging them again, wasting away his remaining years in this futile cycle. He experienced countless battles and had numerous lovers in his life, yet never found someone who could enter his heart, finally passing away quietly in loneliness. The women of the Buendia family were also haunted by loneliness. Ursula, the soul of the family, supported the entire clan with her lifelong perseverance. She watched her husband descend from enthusiasm to madness, her sons sink into loneliness, and her grandchildren repeat the family's fate. Hardworking, brave, and wise, she tried to resolve the family's loneliness with love and responsibility, but ultimately struggled in vain. I've guarded this family all my life, watching over a group of lonely people, like guarding a desolate desert. No matter how hard I try, no flowers will bloom. She went blind in her old age, yet could clearly perceive the family's tragedy. She knew that loneliness was a brand etched in the Buendia blood, impossible to erase. She endured everything in darkness, praying for the family until her last breath, but never witnessed a miracle. Rebecca, the adopted daughter of the Buendia family, carried the gene of loneliness from childhood. She liked eating soil and lime, a unique way to cope with her loneliness. Only the heaviness of the earth can make me feel alive, can cover the fear and emptiness in my heart. Her love with Jose Arcadio was a short redemption, but after his death, she completely closed herself off. She nailed the doors and windows of her dilapidated house shut, refusing all contact with the outside world, wasting away her life in loneliness and memories. When she died, people found her room covered in dust, with traces of soil in the corner, just like her lonely life, silent and sorrowful. Amaranta, of the third generation, took loneliness to its extreme. Beautiful and intelligent, she was filled with strong possessiveness and fear. She fell in love with Pietro, the Italian mechanic, but repeatedly rejected his marriage proposals out of fear of being hurt, eventually driving him to his death. I long for love, but I'm afraid it will bring betrayal and pain. Better to push it away from the start than to be hurt. Her heart was torn by contradiction, longing for intimacy, yet fearing its risks. After Pietro's death, she was consumed by endless guilt and loneliness, wrapping a black ribbon around her wrist as a symbol of her resolve to renounce love and accept loneliness. She never married, guarding the family's old house, watching those around her pass away one by one, finally dying peacefully in loneliness with a smile of relief. Macondo's fate was closely intertwined with that of the Buendia family. This once vibrant town experienced prosperity and decline alongside the family's ups and downs. When the banana company settled in Macondo, it brought modern civilization, as well as plunder and disaster. The capitalists of the banana company exploited local workers, wantonly destroyed the environment, and turned Macondo into a squalid mess. The workers rose up in resistance but were cruelly suppressed, with countless lives lost. We thought civilization would bring hope, but never imagined it would bring deeper suffering and loneliness. The people of Macondo struggled in despair. The former paradise became a living hell. The descendants of the Buendia family continued to repeat their ancestors' stories, staging similar tragedies. Some indulged in desire, some clung to power, some wallowed in memories, but no one could break the cycle of loneliness. José Arcadio Segundo, of the fourth generation, witnessed the banana company's massacre, seeing countless deaths firsthand, his heart shattered by profound trauma and loneliness. He shut himself in the study, repeatedly reading the family's history, trying to find answers in the past, but ultimately found nothing. History always repeats itself. Loneliness always endures. We are like puppets controlled by fate, unable to break free. Overwhelmed by helplessness, he died in loneliness. Remedios, of the fifth generation, was the most extraordinary member of the Buendia family. Beautiful and innocent, unbound by worldly rules, she was like an angel sent by God to save the family. She did not understand the family's loneliness, nor was she troubled by it. I only know to live happily and love this world. Her innocence and purity were like a beam of light, illuminating Macondo's darkness. But this light was too fleeting. Eventually, holding a bedsheet, she rose into the sky in a light breeze and disappeared from sight. Her departure plunged Macondo into endless darkness and loneliness once again, robbing the Buendia family of their last hope. The last generation of the Buendia family was the son of Aureliano Buendia and Amaranta Ursula. Born with a pig's tail, this child carried all the family's genetic flaws, marking the end of the Buendia fate. His parents' incestuous marriage had long doomed his tragedy. We knew it was forbidden, yet we chose to love. Perhaps this is the inescapable fate of our family. Amaranta Ursula died shortly after giving birth, and Aureliano Buendia watched in despair as ants devoured their son. He finally deciphered the manuscript left by Melquiades, which recorded the entire history of the Buendia family, from the first generation to the last. All stories were predestined. A century of loneliness is ultimately a cycle, an inescapable fate. He watched as Macondo was destroyed by a hurricane, as if it had never existed, and the story of the Buendia family came to an end with Macondo's disappearance. 100 Years of Solitude tells a story of loneliness, fate, and reincarnation through 7 generations. The Buendia family's loneliness is not mere physical isolation, but a profound spiritual estrangement, a universal existential predicament of humanity. This loneliness stems from the essence of human nature, from the persistence of self and the alienation from others, as well as from the turmoil of the times and conflicts of civilization. Marquez's portrayal of loneliness is not a negative escape, but an unavoidable state of life. It brings pain, but also clarity. For us living in modern society, the story of the Buendia family still holds profound enlightenment. We live in an era of information explosion and advanced communication, seemingly closely connected to the world, yet lonelier than ever before. We scroll through social media, watching others' joy, while our own hearts are filled with emptiness. We have countless contacts, yet not a single person to confide in. We chase fame, fortune, and success, yet in our exhaustion, we lose sight of what we truly want. This loneliness is essentially the same as that of the Buendia family. It arises from the confusion of self-identity, the longing and fear of intimate relationships, and the questioning and confusion about the meaning of life. The tragedy of the Buendia family lies in their inability to face loneliness and reconcile with it. They either tried to escape loneliness through desire, power, and memories, or shut themselves off and were consumed by it. We modern people often fall into the same trap. We fear loneliness, desperately seeking companionship, yet ignoring the value of loneliness itself. In truth, loneliness is not terrifying. It is the resistance and fear of loneliness that haunt us. Loneliness is an opportunity to dialogue with ourselves, a chance for self-reflection and growth. In loneliness, we can see ourselves more clearly, clarify our inner needs, and find the meaning of life. At the same time, 100 Years of Solitude reveals the relationship between individuals and the times. The fate of the Buendia family was always swept by the tides of the times. Latin America's colonial history, wars and upheavals, and capitalist invasion all shaped the family's rise and fall. Personal loneliness is often closely linked to the predicaments of the era. Just as our modern loneliness is intertwined with the rapid development of society, the diversification of values, and the utilitarianization of interpersonal relationships. We cannot exist independently of the times, but we can maintain clarity and independence amid the tides, uphold kindness and sincerity in loneliness, and find hope and strength in adversity. With his magical writing, Marquez blurs the line between reality and illusion, showing us that while loneliness is the eternal fate of humanity, love and hope remain the forces to resist it. Although haunted by loneliness, the members of the Buendia family still cherished longing for love, freedom, and beauty. Ursula's perseverance and love, Remedios's innocence and kindness, these brought a touch of warmth to this tragic story. This teaches us that no matter how lonely our predicament, we should never give up pursuing love and beauty, nor close our hearts. Learning to reconcile with loneliness, cherish those around us, and find warmth and joy in ordinary life. This is the best way to resist loneliness. 100 Years of Solitude is not a work of despair, but a work of awakening. It urges us to face the essence of loneliness, to understand that the meaning of life does not lie in escaping loneliness, but in upholding ourselves in loneliness and seeking breakthroughs in reincarnation. Even though Macondo finally disappeared, the story of the Buendia family still offers us profound reflections and enlightenment. A century of time, the rise and fall of a family, eventually turning to dust, yet leaving us with profound reflections on loneliness, fate, and human nature. 100 Years of Solitude is not a book that indulges in sorrow, but one that teaches us acceptance and growth. It lets us understand that loneliness is a normal part of life, and learning to coexist with it is the greatest respect for life. Those seemingly unsolvable predicaments, that bone-deep loneliness, they will eventually become the most precious strength in our hearts as time passes.
No summary can replace the original work. A good book is worth reading page by page. I'm Paper Campfire, and I look forward to our next encounter.